And welcome to another edition of South Texas Now. This is attorney and also nurse practitioner Joe Flores. I didn't decide what I wanted to be till I was like 30, so I said I like school, I like reading. Here we go. I wanted to help people. And then I said, let's do some TV and politics. So, bam, I learned about politics. And one of the men is right here with me who taught me all about politics. He and his dad, who has passed away now, but he's venerated, he's honored, and he's never forgotten. And that was Benny Benavides. He held court there on, what was it, Judge? He held court at Whataburger on Baldwin. Was that
Baldwin and Morgan?
Baldwin and Morgan. I'm sorry, I'm getting deaf. I can't hear you. Say it loud. And
Baldwin and Morgan.
I knew it. Yeah, the West Side is dying, Your Honor. I mean, everybody's moving to the South Side. We need to rejuvenate that side of the city. A lot of that history, that rich history. Your dad was the wheelman for the congressman for how many years?
Practically about 25 years.
Oh, gosh. And when you got out of the Corps, you were in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
Which building?
The Rayburn Building. The
Rayburn Building, and it's right there by the Congress, the whole thing. You had security clearance, the works, and then you decided to run for office yourself, and here we are. And you've made the difference. A lot of parents come up to me and they confuse me because, I'm not as handsome as you are, but they kind of think of me with glasses and you. So I'll own it. And but they want to thank you, seriously, for stopping a lot of the bullying. But there's still bullying going on. In the break, I saw violence that I thought, oh, it's two guys fighting. Girls. So today's program is going to be about bullying in schools and how early on are they fighting, Your Honor?
That's in early on.
Early on as far as grade?
Yes, they pretty much starts up in the middle schools.
Okay, and is it just verbal or are we getting complaints?
Verbal, physical, and, they get written up as citations. Disorderly conduct, but there's a lot that goes into it. I call it the cloud of turbulence, where you have, kids that don't want to go to school, truancy. Why does that happen? Well, you got the red flags. You got fighting in school, you got peer pressure, you have drugs in school, you have gangs in school. There's a lot of stuff going on in the middle schools and high schools, and now we have individuals fighting each other. A large majority, from 75 to 80%, are female students.
And I get a lot of this, oh, come on, Your Honor, it's Corpus, 300,000 people, not our town. This isn't Chicago. This isn't Houston. This isn't L.A. This isn't New York. Come on. How bad can it be?
Mr. Flores, I've read up on this and articles throughout the United States, and it's all over, really, to be honest with you. And for what reasons, I don't know. Maybe COVID, maybe not. But we do have an issue here in the Coastal Bend. And all the way from the northwest to the western parts, the central areas, and now the south side. So the schools have a task, a very large task, and that is, of course, making sure that we don't have these types of things going on in school where these kids are fighting. And I think and I believe that the parents have to step up to the plate because they are the ones that are accountable to their children, and we got to make definitely sure that the parents understand that.
Unbelievable Bill Dunlop is going to go to film here, and if we can get some, we want to show, and prepare yourselves, ladies and gentlemen, it could be graphic. The names and, of course, the identities have been blurred out, but you're going to see some violence, and you may be disturbed by this, so please change your channel or lower the volume or just turn away and head for your favorite beverage or snack. But either way, it's not going to go away. All right, let's start from step one. Now, you and Judge McCoy share the juvenile load. You're facing truancy, drug use, and then it escalates to violence. And now the new laws on the books that our governor, in his wisdom, along with the legislature, have put down that cyberbullying, if you put things on the internet and shame people on the internet, the hazing and the bullying, that can also be a penalty.
Yes.
So a lot of these kids, especially during COVID, they were at home a lot.
Correct.
And how hard was it? It was hard enough to get them to go to school. How hard is it to get them to do their work from home?
Well, you break them down into different types of bullying. One, you have physical bullying, verbal bullying, cyberbullying, and social bullying. And social bullying is an indicator. Is like, let's say, for instance, you have a group of cheerleaders that dislike a certain person, don't want to be in that cheerleading group. So there you go. That's social bullying. You got the verbal bullying in all the schools where they use profanity, threatening other kids, verbal. Then you have physical, the fighting, and then also the cyber. So I do believe that the social apps within, every kid has a opportunity, because all of them have cell phones, and that social media is terrible for the kids. And you have one app, I think it's called TikTok, and kids are following TikTok, and I think a lot of this stuff is coming out of social media, and also the peer pressure within the schools.
Your Honor, please don't try to pretend you don't know what TikTok is. I know you've seen it. And I know you've also seen all of them. You meet with the police in these meetings about juvenile behavior. Right. And this social media brouhaha, this bullying, what kind of fines are parents looking at? Recently, you had a lot of film coverage on stopping the bullying because it reached a zenith. I mean, it was out of control. 2 weeks ago, you came out on one of the television stations and said it's got to stop. So what is your plan to stop the bullying?
Okay, first and foremost is to educate the parents about the statute, the family code, and for them to understand that they're accountable. But once a student is cited, it's a misdemeanor, and the fines can end up $500, community service. They will have barriers to trying to get their driver's license. So it's going to be pretty hard. I could take that away from them. Kind of like not take it away. All I'm trying to do is stop what's occurring in the schools. And I think what's most important is to educate the parents about what their children are doing, because it's a Class C misdemeanor, and if it's anything worse than that or a higher crime, then it goes to Judge McCoy, which is in the County Court of Law 5.
And that means jail time
if they're 17 years old or older.
And do you get a lot of this? My baby didn't do anything, Judge. My child is blameless. It was the other child that's the bully.
Absolutely. You have victims that are the bullies, but you got to hear them out on two sides. Be very balanced and making definitely sure that we got this information correct. And I'm not saying every victim is a bully, but some do cover up by saying they are the bully. So you got to hear them out and make a decision on what actually occurred.
I think all of us have felt the pain of being bullied. In our era, growing up, those of us who grew up in the late 70s, 80s, and early 90s, that era, there was not really a lot of control over that. It was like Lord of the Flies, man. You are on your own.
Exactly.
I remember you telling me tales of you were a very quick Olympic runner because you had to be,
yes,
to save yourself from being assaulted by 5 males running after you after school. Mm-hmm. Do you see a lot of that We see the social media. We see the parents not taking accountability. And I'm not trying to pick on any one parent. I'm just saying that it's very hard, and I see a lot of parents that are shocked that I'm representing. They come to me and say, Mr. Flores, my child only did it out of self-defense. All right, so how many times do you hear that story?
Quite a few. We have right now, this week, 180 cases of disorderly conduct, tobacco use, unlawful tobacco use, and also alcohol usage, which is illegal with minors. So those are juvenile offenses that are coming into the courtroom, but a majority of the fighting. And all I want to say to the parents out there is that we need to work some type of solution out. And what I'm doing now, since kind of slowed me down on the COVID when COVID occurred, but now I'm getting out to the schools, presenting my presentation on the cloud of turbulence, which are indicators of what's going on in the schools, from bullying, from fighting in school, from peer pressure, from drug use, and trying to present to the parents and the students that it's not going to be tolerated. It's not going to be tolerated. If they're the victims, that's fine. We're going to figure it all out, get all the information out in court, and try to find solutions to assist those young teenagers, those juveniles, and also to assist the parents. And I hope that the parents are listening to this, because what I want to do is partner up with those parents and try to find solutions to let these students know that it's not going to be tolerated in the school grounds.
Oh, I'm going to play this like Stairway to Heaven over and over and over.
Yes.
We've got a minute left. What do you want to tell the parents before we go on break for them to reflect on before we come back on commercial?
Not to give up on your kids, but not to be overprotected with them, because I know some parents are really shocked at finding out that their children are fighting in school or doing something they're not supposed to be doing. A school is a safe haven where they go and get educated and, sure, have fun, sports, getting certain activities within the school. But that's what we want to do, and that's what I'm going to try so hard to do, and let these parents know that I'm here to assist not only the schools, but also the parents. What's
the magic number if people want you to come to their school and talk, or maybe a group of parents is interested in you coming out?
I have right now on the list 10 schools to present my Cloud of Turbulence presentation on what's going on within the school campuses. So we got them all the way from Cal Allen to LOSO, and then CCISD. So we break down the ISDs into schools, campuses. I have 4 high schools to go to, and then all the other schools are middle school, and then 3 elementary schools.
Ron, we've got 30 seconds left, but I want to commend you on what you're trying to do. I hope you don't feel that you're alone. I think all of us need to get involved. I think that as a parent, I made 2 rules for my child: make good grades and stay out of trouble. And those usually have worked pretty effectively. We're out of time, but when we come back, you're going to be listening more from Judge Joe Benavides, fighting bullying in school, when we come back.